What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're doing a regionals question and answer, and once again I'm joined by three people. If you just introduce yourself real quick, that'd be fantastic.
What's everybody? I'm Kevin Baxter.
I'm Alex Hill.
I'm Andrew Womble.
All right, and there we go. All right, so all these questions for Verbank, and then later on we might have some YouTube stream questions. So we're gonna skip the first question. Sorry, Max, that question is dumb. So the first question we're gonna talk about: would you rather fight one Gardevoir size Rattata or 100 Rattata size Gardevoirs? It will go with Wamball because I know he'll have like this really thought out answer.
I think I go for the 100 Rattata size guard. Like what? Like I'm just thinking back to Sun and Moon, the first island trial when that big ass Raticate comes out, and that thing's pretty scary. And that's about the same size as a Gardevoir, and
Dang,
I don't think I'd want to fight
spoiler
that
alerts.
thing.
Yeah, but think of all the despair from 100 Rattata-sized Gardevoirs. Like they're so small, but those rays of despair would just you'd be depressed for years. I think.
Did they say Mega Gardevoirs or just regular Gardevoirs?
Just regular Gardevoirs.
Just regular.
But what they have Life Leap or Life Sap or something? What's that?
It still does 100 damage.
Well,
All
no,
right.
the other one. The first attack. It's deal 20 and heal 20 or something like that.
It's bad. You don't play it.
It won me a regional, so it's very good. Life Leap.
A regionals.
Life Leap. It would leap all of your lives.
So one giant Raticate or Rattata or Gardevoir?
No, it's one tiny or 100 tiny Gardevoirs.
So which one did you pick, Alex?
I picked the Gardevoir size Rattata. I mean, the teeth are scary, but you just have to deal with it. It's fine.
What about you, Kevin?
I think I'm with Andrew on the small Gardevoirs. You just kick them around. I don't know.
Just stomp on them.
Just squish them
Just
all.
get some steel toe boots.
I have
Their
those.
weakness.
Some heavy boots.
Exactly.
Some heavy. Shut up, Alex. Okay. So the next question is actually a real question. How have the results of Dortmund regionals affected your decisions going into Fort Wayne? And I think overall it was all dark, with some Raiku, one Raiku, one Xerneas, one Regice Garbodor, Glaceon, and the rest dark. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm missing anything.
It won by Rainbow Road.
Yeah, Rainbow Road won, and the second
Wait.
place just straight Evital, Garbodor, nothing else.
So this was a Rainbow Road with no elixirs and no EXP shards, right?
No, it did pay.
No,
It
they had elixirs.
It had elixirs. They
Oh, really?
eventually released it had elixirs. Yeah.
Okay. Because the initial list didn't have any in it, right?
Yeah, it didn't
was
have any in it at first.
I was really confused, but okay.
Yeah. So, what about you, Kevin? Has it changed your results any or your decisions?
Sort of. I was kind of hoping by now that Garbodor would die down a little bit, but obviously that's not going to happen. So, I guess it's going to make me play something that doesn't scoop to Garbodor. But I don't know what that is yet.
But
That's
yeah,
kind of all my thoughts. I think the Eelektrik actually kind of interesting. I wanted to test that, but I don't know if there's
The
enough time.
Electro deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, but I don't know. I didn't think the results were really that impactful. Just there's all this Yveltal, but there's been so much Gardevoir hype here that it's I don't really care.
it's weird
So-
that no Guardy made top 8 there.
I mean, the last regional there was won by Rayquaza, and so I'm not too surprised.
What about you, Andrew? I know you love these foreign regionals.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't think this is representative of the meta game at all. So
Yeah, and I mean, do we even care? One of the lists was just 4 Yveltal EX and a Garbodor line. And then other things
Hey, it's a good card, man.
a Raiku lost in top 8 to a Yveltal.
Right? Yeah, that was kind of dumb. Raiku should have won the event.
With Jolteon. Oh, yes, you don't have to do anything. You just turn 1, attach an energy elixir to a Jolteon. Or if you don't even need to Jolteon down, and then next turn you just go attach Electro to the Jolteon, I win. And then like 1-1 Garbodor lines, 3-2 Garbodor lines. Just like I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, there was a 1-1. I was very confused. I was like, all right, Igor, come down there. No. Yeah, I think overall it's not gonna impact it too much. So. All right, so this question is gonna be to Andrew, maybe to Kevin. I know both these players have played this deck. How many people play Vesquane and Fort Wayne? Over, under 4 or 5?
I go over, but I think it's gonna be single digits still. So
Really?
it's gonna probably be like right at 5, just barely getting the over.
Is Fred Hoban
But-
going?
Yeah, he's going. So there's
Okay,
one.
so there's one.
Yeah, there's one.
But-
Hey, he's on my fantasy team. He's got to do well.
I mean, there's no reason to play Karen anymore, really. So
The
not
issue
that
of the
there
deck.
was in the first place. but-
Yeah,
You don't play Karen and Gardevoir and Mega Ray?
I mean, you play Brock's Grit. I mean, you
Okay.
can play Karen, but I feel like most people are playing Brock's Grit.
Fair enough.
But you,
What's
Kevin,
up?
how many people are playing Vesquane?
It's gonna be over 4.5 because there's gonna be like 800 masters. So, just statistically, it has to be. I don't know. I hope Fred does well.
Are you gonna tell him? Like, you need to coach him and tell him, hey, don't play Vesquane, or are you gonna like encourage him?
He can do his own thing. He's
Okay.
been doing all right without. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
fine.
He like very quietly went 6-1-2 in Orlando and bubbled out.
Well,
With Vesquane Valpone.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know how. I don't know how he like got Pokemon in the discard pile.
He doesn't even play.
but-
I think the last time I talked to him, he wasn't even playing Klefki.
Okay. Fred can do his own thing. That's whatever, man.
Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not even playing Klefki." I was like, "All right, sounds good, Fred." He might now, but I don't know. So, at
I would
least
just like I don't know. I just want to see like a clef key with like on unknown like on like 3 of advanced loss or something. Just watch him just like chain them all into the discard pile in one turn.
all right. So I guess the overall answer is single digits, but at least one because Fred's going to be there. So,
I'll give it double digits.
ooh,
Out of 900 masters, come on, there's got to be double
think-
digits.
Now
you
there's
think it's gonna be
900.
that many
Yeah.
players?
No,
I don't think it's gonna be that big of a regional.
I think
I
it's
was
like
thinking-
600.
if it goes over
Yeah, it's-
700, I'd be
I just
surprised.
think
It's
King
got to
Ward
be.
around
It's got to be the
600.
big. Fort Wayne's always like the biggest, isn't it?
But it's Thanksgiving weekend.
Thanksgiving.
So
There's gonna be like so many like parents not there because they don't want to take their kids because they're either do Thanksgiving stuff. I imagine.
they're not dedicated enough.
No, I mean you're not wrong, but
I don't know. I think it's gonna break the record again.
oh, I think he'll break the record. I just don't think it'll be like much over 700.
Huh. All right. So this next question is kind of long. It's what's your honest opinion on Pokemon right now? Are you having more or less fun than you have before? Do you ever think about not playing anymore, or is it something you plan to do for a long time to come? Also, bonus, can you make a case for Gyarados being a good deck, or do I need to stop asking top tier players about this one deck? We'll go Alex.
I'm just gonna start with Gyarados. Don't play it. It's bad. There was like another reason not to play it that I heard that recently.
The
'Cause-
Oh
Greninja,
yeah,
the
that
Ninja?
Greninja, that new Greninja. Yeah. I mean, you like auto lose to Vileplume and Giratina. Like we've tested it with Ranger, and it still doesn't beat Vileplume or Giratina. Yeah, just don't play it. I promise it's not fun. But the other question is a lot more interesting.
Do
I don't know. The
need to
game's in a
reread?
really weird spot right now. I think it's just like the most competitive and like in a competitive scene is kind of getting to the point where it's like really good. But I mean, events are just so long and just stressful. And it's just a huge grind. Like you get to the convention center at 8:30 and you leave at midnight. They're some of them are like really poorly run. Like Philadelphia was easily the worst regional I've ever been to. And then it's just like the game itself is not great because like it's like almost everything is decided before you sit down. Like the cards in your deck and the deck you choose impact the game 90% of it, and then maybe 10% is your in-game actions. And if you know what you're doing, then both players should be making the optimal moves almost all the time. And so it's like, I mean, I've thought about not playing, not seriously, but I mean, at some point in the future, I imagine I won't be playing. But I think it's going in the right direction. And it still needs some changes, both to the competitive structure and to the game itself.
What about you, Andrew?
Oh yeah, this is a pretty bad year. I think this is gonna be a lost season, pretty much. Like I don't plan on really playing it out the entire way. I think it's missing like those local events. It's like really hard to keep going when it's like all you have is regionals, so everything's like all the way up here as far as competitiveness, and you don't have that like more mellow like city championship stuff going on. And it's a lot more travel, and after like driving like 14 hours, and then if you don't do well, it makes you not want to go back to the next one that you have to drive a long time for. But if we had something like states where you're driving like 3.5 to 4 hours, then if you do bad, you don't care. Like it's just a different level of investment. And then like TPCI is just kind of a train wreck right now. Like they can't announce any info. There's no communication going on. Like people at the company aren't even doing like the basic like job functions to upkeep like organized play. Like people like back for nationals when I got my prize money, I had to go like they just never sent it to me. And I had to go contact someone through the company to finally get paid like 2.5 months later. And then we have the same thing with like the promo cards where the company just doesn't
Thanks,
answer
Puka.
they don't answer any support tickets or anything, and people have to go to people they know within the company to get answers. So, and then like we already saw it with Hoken, how they killed that game in about 2 months just by mismanaging it. And I think people are a little more enthusiastic about the card game, so that probably won't happen. But Hoken was set up to have like a pretty good community around it, and then they just mismanaged it every step of the way. And like we're waiting for League Cup info. Hoken players are still waiting to even see if they have a season. So I think they'll probably shuffle up some employees at Pokemon, and then maybe get some better people in there and get it back on the right track. But I think
Oh no. Andrew's dying.
What, Wambo?
Uh-oh. Pokemon's after him.
you can't really judge it.
They shut off his internet.
Sounds good enough, Andrew. You cut it halfway kind of there. But it was like Pokemon's dying, Pokemon TCG's kind of following the same path but won't die off kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much just company's such a mess right now, and until they like reorganize what employees they have in like managerial positions to like have better direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now for the TCG, we don't have league cups, which are supposed to be part of our structure, so it's hard to have fun when you're not even getting all the tournaments we're supposed to be getting. So I think this year's going to be a waste completely, and we just have to come back like next year and hope it's a lot better.
Yeah, and I think the worst part about that is we're almost getting towards the point where it's like, are they going to restructure the invite structure or not?
Yeah. I was talking with some friends this weekend. I really think they should just like give up on League Cups and just drop down the point requirement to 300.
No, please, no.
But with only regionals and no
300
states,
was worthless.
But
no,
but it's
even
different.
But you wouldn't have cities at that
Regionals-
point.
But you have
regionals
no,
are still worth more points than they've ever been, and you can count way more to your point total than you ever could.
but to get 300 just off regionals is so hard to do by itself, though.
That's fine. The best players in the world will do it, and the players who aren't the best in the world won't do it.
Exactly. So that's fine. Like that's what you need. Like you can't get 500 points just off regionals fairly easily.
Right? No, 500 is wrong. But I mean, like 350. I don't know.
No. I think it's fine if they just take off League Cups this year and just drop it down to 300. Like,
But even so, we'd have 120 points off of league challenges, easy.
you still had to get 380 points from regionals.
Well, yeah. But I'm saying if it was 300, you'd only need 180 points from regionals. So divide by 8 regionals, that's like an average of top 64, 8 regionals. So if you just traveled enough, you would just top 64, 8 regionals and get an invite. And that's not a Worlds level player. That's just a normal player.
Do you think if somebody made top 64 8 times, 8 different regionals, they aren't good enough to make Worlds?
Yes. If you go 6-3 at 8 regionals, I don't think you're good enough to make Worlds.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't think people are even going to go to 8 regionals.
Exactly, me either. Like, there's no
and
way.
And then it's still kind of hard for like a middle-level player to even get top 64
Right.
at like half of them, just because the tournaments are so big right now.
Good.
So I want to see if we have like just only day 2 invites, because no more than 16 people actually got an invite.
It's like what Magic does. They have like 24 people for their Worlds. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but I think like we should be shooting for 150 to 200 people at Worlds.
All right, Kevin, what about you? Do you remember all the questions?
As far as Gyarados, I agree that it's bad. It just plays too many bad cards. As far as Pokemon as a game, with what Andrew was saying, I think the reason it's like going so poorly this season is that they tried to grow the scene so big with all the prize money and getting people to come play, and then they just weren't prepared for all the people that came and play. Like, you can see that at the regionals where it takes forever, and they just didn't think there would be more than 300 somehow. So that's kind of bad, and then obviously the League Cup thing is a disaster. But as far as like the meta and the cards, I think it's all right. I had a lot of fun playing Expanded. I think that format's in a pretty good place. As far as Standard, I don't think it's terrible. I just haven't found the deck that I really like. So for me, it's not like the most fun, but I think it's more than 10% play ability at the moment. Maybe it's just the decks you're playing, Alex. I won't name any names, but particular decks are kind of one-dimensional. But like, I don't know. I think there's enough matchups where there is enough play in Standard that it's not too stale for me yet. I just haven't found that one deck that I really like yet.
Yeah, Grizzly Genesect's not legal, so I can't find one either. So
Yeah.
Sure it is.
Not
You
a
play Ancient Origins Virizion and Metal Genesect. I think the Virizion will let you draw for, is it for a colorless or for grass?
I don't even know.
Well, either way, you can play Rainbow if they're mismatched, and you can just draw more cards and hit them with a quick whatever the attack is called for 100 and whatever many metals you discard. Good deck.
All right, there we go. So maybe we'll see it at regionals this weekend. All right. So the next question is: Raiku Electrode or another variation of Raiku actually viable or not? And let's go with Andrew first.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like, it just top forward in Europe.
Top 8.
Evital has quite a bit of hype around it.
It just won the European regionals. It should have.
So I don't think it's like an amazing deck if people play like good decks like Mega Mewtwo and like more Gardevoir and Rainbow Road and stuff like that. So I think it loses to Vileplume probably too. So I think it has a lot of bad matchups actually. But if you have like a meta like Europe and you just play Evital all day, I think it's fine. I think it's like a tier 3 deck though. Like, everyone I know who tested it said it wasn't good, and then they're surprised when they saw it do well in Europe. But Europe's regionals are also a lot smaller, and I think the player caliber is also a little bit less, so you can have some stranger results.
All right. So what about you, Kevin? Is Raiku viable or not?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It needs like a pretty specific meta to be like really good. Obviously, if there's a ton of Eviltal, it'll be great. But if there's a ton of like, I don't know, Mega Mewtwo and Garbodor and whatnot, even Gardevoir is probably pretty tough because they can just discard all their fragile EXs. So I think it just needs like a heavy dark meta to be decent. But like Electrode's, I think, underrated.
Yeah, I think it could be really well positioned right now. I mean, you've also just did super well in Europe, so that could be good. I think Mega Rayquaza's on the up, and so it could run into a bunch of those. Gardevoir would be bad for sure, just because they can fairly effortlessly one-shot your Raikous, and then knock off the Fury Belts on those. Vileplume would be bad probably, except for they can't really deal with your Jolteon very well. So if you played into a good spot, then you could like maybe beat Vileplume or like have a chance against it. Like maybe if you put in a Ranger, you could just like one shot some of their stuff with like your Raikus or something. Darkrai Giratina could be beatable. I'm not even sure. I think Greninja could be really beatable, just because you put on so much early pressure. So yeah, I think it could be good. I'd probably agree it's like tier 3, but it's definitely not a bad deck.
It's a deck. That's all I can say. I played it for Monday. It was pretty good. I can't remember what I beat, but I beat 2 decks pretty easily. So.
I watched that like earlier today. You beat decks that weren't attacking you.
Sounds good. Hey, but that's a good thing. Like, turn 2, you're going to attack. Like, you're going to get a Volt over Electro turn 1 or turn 2, and you're going to blow up and just start, like, swinging people pretty easily.
Well, I mean, you play, like, Elixirs, right?
Yeah, you play Elixirs too. So, yeah, like I said, like, you're attacking turn 1.
You need Electrode.
Yeah. Oh, Electro's so good.
No, I mean, it's really good. I'm just saying you don't even need it to attack.
Oh, yeah, true. Alright, so, also this past weekend, I know there was the regionals, but there's also an ARG challenge in Atlanta, I think? Was it Atlanta?
No, I was in Charlotte.
Okay.
No, the Atlanta one was on the weekend affiliate, and I was mad. I would have gone.
Yeah.
It was like 10 minutes from my house.
I just know I saw Broward there, and I thought it was somewhere in the south like that. So top 2 was both Mega Ray, correct?
Yeah.
What was the other top 8?
The rest of the top 4, there was a Gardevoir, and anybody know what it was?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
No, I haven't.
Oh no, it was a Darkrai Giratina.
Well, the guy said there was at least 2 Darktina and 3 Mega Ray in top 8.
Sure, whatever. And then a Plume Box and a Mega Gardevoir. And
Plume Box lost the top 8. But yeah, will this change the meta anything, or will people not even know what the heck's going on in ARG right now? Like, I didn't even know what was going on this weekend until they're like, oh, Nathan Brower's in the finals. I was like, oh, he's about to win this whole tournament because I have no idea who else is except Grant Manley, but he lost the top 8. So,
you know what he lost to?
He lost to the guy who won.
Yeah, he lost to this boy right here.
I heard that, like, he had put it down and...
It's like... Well, I mean, the guy played Eradicate anyways, so, like, he could have beaten him. But it was just, like, the Magearna hit the field and Grant kind of should have just scooped, because it doesn't matter. I don't know. Game's over.
It just kills your Regices and everything pretty easily?
Well, yeah, because it's like, in that matchup, you either get a Regice and just wall out their entire field. And then, like, even if you get your Magearna EX down, then they can't even, like, and you get a Rainbow on the Regice, then they can't even, like, knock off your energies with Jirachi or anything. So you just run their whole board over unless they get a Ranger. But even so, it's like they probably can't play 2 Rangers in a game. So you just run them over with Regice, or, like, Glaceon is okay. They can attack it with, like, the baby Rayquaza, but then they're not one-shotting you. So it's like, it's a pretty fine matchup until they have this metal attacker that one-shots any of your attackers, so none of your good attackers.
Is it energy requirement just 1 metal?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Man, I wish it was
And
colorless.
it has 9.
Wish it was colorless.
Oh yeah. No, if it was colorless, it'd be in probably
Every deck.
not all the decks, but like a solid 5th or 6th of most decks. Because it has pretty good uses in other matchups too. Like in Gardevoir, it could do 120 to a Gardevoir. One shots Rainbow Road, garbage. Like, but.
All right, so I mean, the overall question is how does ARG change the meta for Fort Wayne? Probably 0. Like, it probably doesn't change anything. Unless people hype Mega cards a little bit more, but besides that, probably not changing much at all.
I mean, I've been hearing Mega Ray hype before.
Yeah, true.
It's kind of been sneaking up onto like people's tier lists. And people like I don't know why, but I mean,
I'll just parry down to 3.
If Parallel kind of drops off, then it's not a bad call for a lot of the matchups, and it might solidify that notion in some people's minds, but I don't think it really does much overall.
I think the reason like Mega Ray was terrible in the beginning is Mewtwo with Garbodor and Parallel City just kind of shut it down. Because that was like pretty much the only deck that actually pulled that off pretty well, other than Scizor, but like that deck isn't great anyway. But like with I think the reason there's Mega Ray hype is because there's Gardevoir hype, which kills the Mewtwo. So like there's gonna be less decks that are like doing parallel Garbodor on you. There's still a bunch, but less. So I think that's kind of opening the door for Mega Ray. Because I was testing Mega Ray at the beginning of the season because I thought it was just really good in a vacuum. But then everybody and their mom was playing Parallel City and Garbodor.
Yeah. All right, so I'll go Andrew this question since he's been quiet. The next question is: with everyone hyping Mega Gardevoir and then having a poor turnout at Dortmund, how do you think it would shape the meta?
I don't think it'll shape it at all. Maybe more people play Mega Mewtwo a little bit, but I think people were gonna already bring Mega Mewtwo to Fort Wayne. Like it's really popular on PTCGO still. Is really popular throughout America.
Is it popular at your league?
Orlando. I haven't been to my league in like a year, so. But,
so the answer is yes.
I don't think people are gonna play Mega Gardevoir any less than they were planning on playing it. Like I think most people were already locked into their deck for Fort Wayne by the time this regional happened, and maybe there's a little bit adjustment from some people. I think most people are just going to keep going forward with whatever they planned on playing anyhow.
I mean, Squeaky, there's going to be like 1,000 players at Fort Wayne, so like a decent amount of them are already decided.
I know this guy hasn't decided. I'll probably post a question on Friday asking pick up deck from there. So
a lot of people only know one deck.
You should actually do it though.
I have done it multiple times.
Like what?
Like I'm pretty sure somebody said play Whaler at Arkansas State, and I did, and I got 9th place. And I've had multiple people tell me to play Vespa Queen because they tell me to play it all the time, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'll just keep playing it. So.
Oh, okay, that's different, but.
What people leave me comments saying play Vespa Queen and I play it.
Like Whaler's real. Like that's fine, but it's just like I don't know. It's like if somebody was like, "Oh, Alex, at your next expanded regionals, play Night March," I'd be like, "All right, sweet, that's what I was going to play, so it counts."
I have never thought about playing Whaler until
yeah, no,
the
I'm
Erickson
saying
brothers sent me a message from like, "Yo, play Whaler," and I was like, "All right."
Like Vespa Queen, that's different. It's like you're already gonna play Vespa Queen anyways. It doesn't matter.
I was not gonna play Vespa Queen until good old Whambot right there was like, "Come on, Squeaky, play it." And I was like, "All right, cool, let's get in there." And I was like, "Dang, this deck's good. Oh man, I won the states." Yes.
States.
Yeah. So, anyways, like on the questions about Gardevoir not being played at Dortmund, but it's just like Rayquaza won the last regionals there. If you expected like that to continue, people to play Rayquaza still, then it'd be really dumb to play Gardevoir. So I'm not surprised that it didn't do well, but I don't think it's going to impact anybody. I think Gardevoir is still really strong. As Wamble said, people are going to play Mega Mewtwo, which I don't really get, but then it just
because it's Mewtwo.
It beats like most of the decks, so people aren't going to look and be like, I have one bad matchup against Gardevoir, which is going to be like 12% of the field, and be like, I'm not going to play this deck because of one thing I might play once in the entire tournament.
Well, yeah, I think Gardevoir is so strong, I think people still really like it, and I think people are still going to play it just as much as they would have had Dortmund never happened. So.
Somebody just told me to play Hippowdon.
Do it!
Is there a legal Hippowdon?
I don't know.
Isn't the one from Primal Clash? I think it's legal.
Oh, yeah,
Is
he
that
is
the
from
set
Primal
it's
Clash.
from?
Is Primal Clash still legal?
Yeah, it's legal.
Oh,
Yep.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, Resistance Desert.
Yeah,
It's Primal Clash
I know it's
Honor
Primal
now,
Clash.
right?
I just don't know what sets are legal. So
I think it's Primal Clash Honor now.
sounds good.
Yeah, you could beat lots of decks right
and then
now.
people just like Ranger me and I'll cry.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's like it's even worse now.
It's
All right,
fine.
so I know Alex talked about this a little bit, but how does Mega Guardy handle other Skyfield decks like Mega Ray and Rainbow Road? Anybody have an answer?
You kill their EXs,
Yeah.
like Shamans and whatever. I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
lot better
wouldn't-
than I would have
Well, how
said.
do you beat any other deck? You knock out their Pokemon.
Well, I think they're saying because those two decks are like really hard for you to beat because they rely on Skyfield as well, and they could just one shot you fairly easy. I guess is what they're trying to say.
I don't think you tech against it. I think you just do whatever makes your own deck as strong as possible. And like you're probably gonna lose even if you try teching against it anyhow. So you might as well just take the bad matchup instead of weakening your deck against other things.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you lose. So I don't know. I mean,
you
it's
give
like
it a good try, and then
good old
and
college try.
College.
I mean, it's like
What?
against no.
Your
I mean,
your best
end them in the
bets-
garbage.
Your best
Yeah.
bet's probably just Hex Maniac chaining them to start the game, and then they can't Hoopa. And then if you can do that enough turns, if you play like 2 Hex Maniac, then you might be able to steal some matches against those.
True. True. I mean, like I think, like Kevin said, you just try to go after the Shamans and take knockouts as quicker than they can, maybe. So, I mean, once Rayquaza sets up, they're just going to kill you every turn. So, yeah. All right. So, what's the best Pokemon tech against Mega Gardevoir? Now, these aren't really techs. I mean, he has Magearna, Mega Scizor, and Cobalion, but I don't think Magearna even. I mean, these are like decks by themselves. Like they're not really techs.
Magearna's a tech.
Magearna doesn't do anything though.
No, I think he's talking about. I mean, if he's talking about Magearna, maybe the Magearna EX. I mean, Magearna by itself doesn't even knock out Mega Gardevoir.
Sure
Yeah.
it does. They have six different types
They're
of bench
gonna
Pokemon.
discard their whole bench
Well, they have 6
and
different
give
types
you
of bench
20
Pokemon,
damage.
and they didn't discard any of them. So.
No, I mean, I don't think there's any good splashable metal attacker against Gardevoir. So just try to like kill it with other things, I guess. I don't know. You might have to two-shot it.
I think your plan against like Mega Guardy is like just play Parallel City and beat them that way. Like, don't tech a Pokemon for them.
hmm
I don't know. What does Alex or Andrew think?
I'd do Magearna EX if you can
Yeah.
support it, because the Mega Gardevoir is also Psychic type, which I think a lot of people miss. So they have to actually discard everything except one with the full bench to actually one-hit KO a Magearna EX. And then they can't one-hit KO it if it has a Fighting Fairy Belt on it. So you could get a lot of mileage out of a Magearna EX against Mega Gardevoir.
Yeah, I mean, if you do a Magearna that you didn't attack with last turn, you Fury Belt and you Hex, they can't one-shot you.
And then you Ranger, knock them out again.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, I mean, if you want like a Pokemon that counters it, it's Magearna EX or nothing really. Like Cobalion, I guess, but that's not really that great. But yeah, I mean, like if you're not one-shotting them, then it doesn't really matter what you put in to counter them.
So yeah, if you're already playing Rainbow Energies and DCEs, perfect fit, Magearna EX.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, like something like I guess Mega Ray's a bad example because you should probably win anyhow. But stuff like that with colorless attack costs, they can mess around with their energies a bit, and maybe they play something else right now. They can slide in like 1 or 2 metals to adjust and fit in Magearna. But I probably wouldn't do that. I'd just try build whatever deck to be the best it can be without hard teching against any deck, because I think it's going to be so much variety at Fort Wayne that techs, like there's a good chance you play something and then to tech against something, and then even play against the deck you teched out against.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we can go back to Alex's answer a long time ago, and you could play a Genesect with 2 metal energies, and that way you can one-shot them. You just discard 1 energy.
Yeah.
And it does 100 for, I think, and 20 for each metal you discard. It's like you can do 120, and then if you at least play 2 energies, you can like. Well, I think it needs 2 energies to attack.
And they can't
It needs
one shot
3 metal.
It needs 3 metal.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're playing
Yeah.
3 metal now in as attack.
And then they can't one shot you unless they have a Giovanni and they discard their entire bench.
Sounds good.
Or no. It's all the bench you've ever won plus the Giovanni. Yeah. Right? Sure.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good. Whatever.
So,
trying to get
you're
Genesect in
relatively clear.
Yeah. All right. So this next question is a 3-parter, but it's all. I think they're all good questions. What is your favorite memory in your Pokemon TCG career? When did you become good and realize it? And most annoying card in the game right now besides Garbodor or Vileplume? And we'll go with Alex.
Oh boy.
Tough 3 questions.
I don't even remember the third one.
All right, one at a time. Favorite memory in
That's
Pokemon
all right. So
TCG.
Okay, so my favorite memory, this is gonna be really corny, but it's just like, it's watching all my friends like get our invites and like win big tournaments, like watching Chris win the first Ohio States, or like all my friends being there when I won Ontario regionals, or like watching JW get his invite for the first time after he like just barely missed it in 2014. Like that's just my favorite thing in Pokemon, is just like being there with my friends and just being so excited for them. So yeah. That's a couple of memories, but that's my favorite memory in a nutshell. The second part, what was the second part?
When did you become good at the game and realize it?
So I've actually been playing since 2005, and I was terrible for a long time. Like I'd go to like 5 tournaments a year. So for like years and years, I was really bad. The first time I thought I was like good at all was like when I worked with Christopher Szymanski for the first time, and we put together this like really good Garbodor deck. And I went 8-0 at Ohio States, and then Chris DeRocher won with the same list, and Chris Szymanski won seniors with the list. And like and then after that I like cut nationals, and that was the first time I was like, man, maybe I'm not that bad anymore. So that's probably it.
And then most annoying card in the game right now besides Garbodor or Vileplume, which I think I know your answer.
Neither one of them are annoying. You're probably gonna think my answer is Magearna, right?
No, I think your answer is gonna be Ranger.
Oh yeah, probably.
If Ranger didn't exist, I know exactly what deck you play almost every week.
I mean, it doesn't like Ranger didn't really matter. It's hard to find.
Well, I guess it's Magearna. Yeah.
It's Ranger and Magearna, and then like also you can run like Raticate or like other attackers, whatever. Most annoying card I think is actually, what's really annoying is Yveltal. Yeah, Fright Knight.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like shutting off your tools and being able to just like, because in past years, I was talking about this today, is like Rayquaza would just destroy Yveltal decks. Like not even a question. And now it's like you put in a Fright Knight and they can't Mega Evolve unless they hex, so you're safe for a turn there. And then you snipe them down and you weaken them so much, or you can just like Lysander up a Hoopa and they can't and they have to retreat it for like a DCE, or they have to hex to retreat it. So it's just like, I think that card is really limiting in the format. I think it's still good. I don't think it's like broken in any way, but I think it's really annoying and limiting. And it's kind of inspired the rise of Olympia as a near staple tech card in a lot of decks.
I'd agree. All right, what about you, Andrew?
Favorite memory would probably be when I won my first city championship. It was like a big one, Chicago Marathon, and I played against Puka in the finals.
Ooh, got him.
And
what year was this, Andrew? Call it out.
2013 or 14, maybe.
How we beat him? Did we 6-0? Did we 4-0? I mean, I don't even know. 4-0.
Well, so the first game, I'm playing like 3 Getsus in my deck, and like we talked during the Swiss rounds, we're like, Getsus, this is such a good card, how come no one's playing it? So we're both playing Getsus in our decks, and he's playing Darkrai Garbodor, and I'm playing Parisian Genesect. So then we play in Swiss, and then we tie, and then we go through top 8 and meet again in the finals. And then game 1, on like the second or third turn of the game, I play down a Ghetsis, and he just shows his hand, and he has 7 items, and that's it. So that game was really easy, and then the second game was crazy. Like, you had everything you could want. G-Booster happened. I had like a 8 or 9 energy Mewtwo EX going. And then he played like Silvermare, I think. So I ended the game by pulling off a double energy switch into Shaman EX to Revenge Blast to win it.
My boy. Alright, and when did you become good at the game and realize it? When you beat Puka?
The same cities.
And he beat Puka at the cities.
I think you have like you have some like success early on, and then you think you're good. Like me and Kevin back like when we first started, we played in like these Hey Trainer online tournaments with all these people that were supposed to be good, and then like we'd cruise through the tournament and make it to the finals and stuff. And so like you have like that false sense of confidence, but then it turns out you're actually not that good yet. So then you have like a second point of realization where you're like, okay, I'm actually a bit better now. But the second time you realize you're good, you're like, I'm this good, but these people are a lot better, and you know they're a lot better. So the second time I realized I was good was probably like 2 seasons ago, just when like every regionals I went to, I was making day 2. Like every cities I went to, I was in top 8. So just like when I started having that greater consistency and actually like advancing in tournaments instead of having more sporadic outcomes for my tournaments. And then the most annoying card is probably some Trevenant card. I don't know which one's more annoying, Trevenant Break or Trevenant XY, but some
Trevenant XY is a great card.
Yeah, like
it's
I don't
not
have
anymore.
I have no issue with the 2 cards by them. They're just too obnoxious, and then like every time I'll play like Night March or Vespiquen, I'll show up to regionals, and then round 1 I'll be paired against Trevenant, and then like this Philadelphia, I show up with 2 promo Shamans in my deck, ready to beat all the Trevenants, and then I never play against it, so... So it just finds like every way to annoy you, even when you don't play against it.
What are you doing, Alex?
Oh, I dropped my cord from my computer.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to show off your chest or something. I don't know what's going on there.
Hey guys, my shirt.
Alright, what about you, Kevin? Same 3 questions.
Alright, let's see if I remember them. Favorite memory? I don't know if I have one specific one, but it's just like the accumulation of all the different regionals and worlds and stuff that I've gone to. Just like hanging out with friends in different cities I've never been to is a lot of fun, and that just keeps getting better with
like
time.
Like breaking the chair in DC, that was a pretty good memory.
Yeah, we had some good times. That one was particularly memorable with like Worlds in DC when basically we first started hanging out. And I'd say I actually think it's funny that Wamble brought up like those Hey Trader tournaments, because for my first like year or year and a half, I thought it was pretty good. Like I was doing well online, and like I got top 16 at a couple things. I don't even remember, but it wasn't until like 2 or so years after that I realized I wasn't actually good until probably a year and a half or 2 years into playing when I hit 500 in 2014. Because I think that was probably one of the harder years to get an invite in the recent history. So yeah, I'd say basically when I rode Raybor to 500, that was pretty fun. And what was the last? Oh, most annoying card. I think the most annoying is just hammers, like Enhanced Hammer and Crushing Hammer. Those just feel terrible when they get played against you. And I had to play 2 Sableye Garbodor decks at regionals.
Really?
I went 101 against them with Mega Ray.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
ask me how.
Because of the caliber of player who plays Sableye Garbodor. I'll tell you
One
that.
of them, no, one of them was TJ.
Oh, really?
We tied. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say other than like TJ, or I guess like Cannabis, but
I feel
I don't.
particularly annoyed with hammers.
All right, I'm actually man. I want to answer these questions too, but it's kind of like Kevin said with the first one. Your favorite memory? I have a bunch. Like I go on and on. There's a lot of good memories. Man, but favorite? All right, so going to this game, like one of my favorite idols was Jay. Like guys, you do not much know. Like I played Pink Sleeves because Jay played him on stream, kind of like idolize. And at the regionals in St. Louis, we got paired against each other, and I beat him. That's probably my favorite memory ever. Like I don't know why. Like that's probably or getting my Worlds invite back in 2014 during Nationals Day 2 of that regionals thingy mabobber.
The last chance.
The last chance.
Was it the second last chance or the first?
The
last
first
chance?
last chance. The first last chance. Because I had gotten top 4 at Atlanta Regionals, barely missed my invite, went up to Madison, Sean Foisey killed the dream, like donked to Jirachi turn 1 with Lugia,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh god, now we can't make cut anymore kind of stuff. And then went to Nationals, got paired against like a Polka Dad playing like Ho-Oh, and I'm playing VG, and then I get paired against oh man, I can't remember her name right now. Christy Britton playing Pyroar, and she kicks my teeth in. And then I play against another Pyroar, and I'm like, God, I'm in a fire pod. Help me, Lord. And I get pooed on there, and then I finally get my invite the next day because I got like top 16 or whatever. I needed like 20 points for my 500 points. Like Kevin said, that was probably the hardest year to get that stuff, like 500.
Yeah.
That
It
was,
was
so
tough,
hard.
yeah.
That was easily the hardest, other than like
This year.
400 was like kind of hard, but that wasn't like. I mean, I didn't get 400 that year, but like if you were like really playing and like a good player, then it wasn't that bad. And then so yeah, other than like 2012, easily the hardest year since then.
Yeah, and then I think like the same answer for like Kevin and Andrew for when you become good and realize it was like you do well at one tournament, you're like, oh, I'm good at Pokemon. Like when I won my first cities, I was like, yeah, I'm good at Pokemon now. And then I got pooed on regionals like the next couple of times. Like I'm bad at Pokemon. Yeah, I won the cities, but that don't matter, kind of stuff. Like, and then I got destroyed at regionals. Like, okay, I'm bad at Pokemon. And then I made top 8 with Riz and Mewtwo back in 2014. I was like, okay, maybe I'm decent. And then I got I got top 8 or no, top 4 at like Atlanta, and won 4 cities that year, and then all this other crazy stuff. And I was like, all right, maybe we're decent. And then I got kind of my teeth kicked in the following year when I made like top 32 at every regionals, but would go like 05. So I'm still in the bubble of am I still good or am I bad at Pokemon? I just don't know. So I don't know if I'm good at Pokemon actually. And the most annoying card, I'll be honest, N. I hate that card. I hate it. It's so annoying.
Oh,
my gosh.
man.
Please don't.
Oh, I don't care. I'd say N all day. Like,
The game without N would just be awful.
Yeah, Squeaky, come play 2007 with me. That's like one of the most recent format, not recent, but that's one format I know that like doesn't have like solid hand disruption, and it sucks. Cause it's like, oh, 3 turns ago I watched you like, I don't know, 3 turns ago you drew like the game winning card, and the game just plays out from there. It's like
But,
there's no.
I hate I don't know. Like I love thinking of plays of how I'm gonna win, and then you end me to one. I'm like, oh, cool, it's an Ultra Ball. Like I lose now. Like I hate that part of point of Pokemon. Like I understand if you're on the side and you're winning and you end them down to 1, now you win because you end up to 1 Ultra Ball. But if you're like you have this idea of how you're gonna win, and then it gets end away, I just hate that so much.
Well, I mean, especially in this game where where the coin flip matters so much, N is the only way to make comebacks in a lot of games.
Yeah, if we didn't have N, it would just be a prize race every single game.
Yeah, it'd be like a coin flip game.
Well, look, they didn't say what's broken. I just said what's the most annoying, and I think N's still the most annoying thing to me.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just arguing for N because I always argue for N.
So I don't know. I mean, I've played a lot of 2011 and 2010. And there's no end there. There's only Judge.
There's
Like
Judge,
I'm
but this is
fine
way
with
different because
Judge.
you could just go like Judge, Ultra Ball, Shaman. Now I have my entire deck, or now I have anything I want, and I can play a supporter for turn. Oh yeah, and I also have 4 VS Seekers in my deck, so I can play any supporter I want.
Yeah, whatever. Then take away VS Seekers. Then I don't care. I just like the whole concept of getting into one, no matter what format it is, sucks. Like I just hate that. Like it doesn't matter if we have Shamans or VS Seekers, I would still hate like the concept of like, all right, cool, I'm 6-1. Let me end you to 1 and knock out your only Pokemon or something like that. Now I'm gonna make.
Oh
a
yeah,
huge
no,
comeback.
without VS Seeker or Shaman, I think it's terrible. I think that's the only reason that it's tolerable right now.
Yeah. Michael said we had Looker's investigation of Judge 2010, but that's different. Like that's not bad. Like the end to 1 is what I hate the
9-1.
most. Like end to 1 is like literally the worst thing that can happen in the game to me. So I don't know. All right, so that was a long question. So the next question. Did anybody play Water Toolbox for Worlds? No. Somebody
I don't know
said, does Water Garb Hammers beat Evital?
Oh, he's talking about that like Regice
European thing?
Glaceon thing that did something at Europe.
Oh, the Glaceon Regice Garbodor deck. In my head, when I saw Water, I thought Scizor and thought he was talking expanded. But probably Regice is. I mean, Fright Night makes things weird.
Might.
I don't know.
Like yeah, you just like pitch Dark Spear and just destroy their entire board. If I don't know.
They don't have Vileplume, so it's not as bad, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends on if they hit their hammers.
All right. So here's a good question. We'll start with Kevin. How do you know you made a misplay when your match is not a stream to rewatch or your friend's not there to tell you?
That's a pretty good question. It really just takes like experience to be able to tell like where exactly in the game you lost. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I like didn't draw the right hand at the right time, or I got into 1 and that's the reason I lost. But a lot of the time it's like way earlier in the game and you just don't realize it. Because when it comes down to it, a game of Pokemon is like 6 turns most of the time, if that. And there's only so many things you can do wrong, and usually it's pretty early on because like it's all about getting a turn ahead on your opponent by killing something or setting up your board. I would say pay attention to when the board state looks a little unfavorable for you, and less about like the last moment of the game where if I top deck this card, I win, because that's just variance. I would try to pay more attention to like kind of screenshotting board states every single turn and looking at where your like energy is and what kind of setup you have versus theirs, and try to gauge it from that. It's kind of complicated, but usually it's kind of early on.
Okay. Anybody else want to add on to that?
Oh, you look like you want to.
Who?
Or I can go.
Andrew? Me? No, I don't want
You want
anything.
to? Okay. No, I mean like my thought is kind of like it's similar to what Kevin was saying, but it's like you don't really know at the time, and it's like you can look back on a game and be like, oh, I'm like here, but with the knock at that point in the game and just where the game state was, it might not be a misplay at the time, but it ended up being the wrong play. It's not necessarily a misplay. I don't know. Usually, like if you really misplay, then you'll remember it and you'll know. That's what I've found. Is you'll be like, oh, I should have done this at that time. But it's not always like that simple. I don't know. So like one thing that I can think of when I was playing in the top 4 states this year, playing against Trevin, and I was just Shaman looping him, and there's no end, and so he's just playing Judge, and he's judging me down to 4, and this was like his last Judge, and he was out of head ringers, and I was gonna deck him out, and all I needed to draw off this Judge was a Shaman and a DCE, and I ended up drawing a DCE but no Shaman. But the turn before I could have played a Shaman down, to put on my bench, leave it there, and then if I draw the DC off the Judge, then I win just by that. But the thought process was you have more shamans, more chances to draw DCEs in your deck. So looking back, maybe you say that's a misplay, like quote unquote, because if I had done that, I would have won the game in that scenario. But at the time, I think it wasn't a misplay. So it's like it's hard to say what exactly is a misplay when you're not like watching the entire game and analyzing it. But I think for the most part, if you like egregiously misplay, you'll remember it.
All right, so we'll let Andrew decide. We'll let Andrew answer this question. What's the best way to go to events for cheap?
Drive to them instead of flying to them.
Or walk.
If you fly, yeah, or walk or bike, whatever. If you do fly, just be lucky and hope you're in a city with an airport where all the flights are cheap out of it. If you're in the wrong city like St. Louis, everything's gonna be expensive if you fly. When you drive, try carpool with someone. Like if you spend like $40-50 in gas, but you split it 4 ways, that's $12.50 and not $40. And then same thing with hotels. If you split it with people, the price comes down. And then if you're plan ahead, you can get like specials usually on hotels that the PTOs set up, and then usually it's like $100 for a night, but it's right at the venue. Otherwise, the other way to save is just to get a like Super 8 or Motel 6 or something that's maybe like 15 minutes away from the venue, and then that's just a lot cheaper hotel option. But it's pretty much just comes down to driving and then splitting the cost with other people.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add to that? Pretty easy.
He pretty much covered most of it. If you're like really strapped for cash, I would say bring food, and because eating out every meal of every day for a whole weekend can get kind of expensive. So if like you need a little bit more savings, bring food.
Yeah, I mean, it's like bring a box of cereal. That's your breakfast for the weekend. Yeah, you can bring other stuff. I mean, it's like find other people who are also strapped for cash, and then you can just stuff 7-8 people in a hotel room.
Or 10.
Oh, yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know, like 8 would probably be about my limit for most hotel rooms.
Ooh, I don't know. You wouldn't like Worlds in 2014, man.
That was a pretty big room, to be fair.
Still, it was
Where did you
pretty
guys
crazy.
stay?
It was at the embassy, so it was like a suite.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally different.
I don't know. It's still crazy.
I mean, but like most hotels, I wouldn't want to fit more than. I mean, I don't even want to put more than like 10 people in a room just to hang out, let alone to sleep.
Like my cap is like really close to like 4 people in a room. Like if we start getting a fifth, I start panicking. Like I'm a big boy. Like I need a lot of bed. Like, but I think the key thing is like have friends, which I know is a weird answer to say, but like just have a bunch of friends
Yeah.
and meet up. Like that's literally like the best way to do Pokemon.
No, and that's a big deal because like I've talked to people who are just getting into the game. They're like, how do you find people to go to tournaments with? And it's kind of hard to answer because like for me, I mean, I met friends at college who didn't have other people to go with too. Like you kind of just got to go to leagues, meet people in your area, like find people who are going to tournaments already.
Yep.
Because you need a group of at least 3 other people to really make traveling good. Because I mean, like splitting even a $100 hotel room, if you're only splitting it with 1 or 2 other people, after tax and stuff, you're paying $50 to $75 for the weekend.
Yeah.
At least, but per night, I think, right? I don't know, whatever. I can't do math right now. But yeah, so it's just like you need, I don't know, you need people to go with. You need to find people. But I mean, once you do, it's not that expensive. The problem is with these regionals, it's like you gotta either drive really far or potentially fly, and then if you have 8 hotel rooms to pay for, then it can really add up if you're not winning prize money.
That's true. All right, so yes or no to his answer. Is Scizor a real deck? Kevin.
Nope.
Alex.
No.
Andrew.
Yeah. It is a deck. It does exist.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's redefine what a real deck means.
Is it a good deck, Kevin?
No. Yeah. Is it a good deck? But it is Scizor.
Is it?
It's really, really good at beating Mega Ray and Mega Guardy, and really bad against most other things.
Is Scizor going to get more? Would you bet $5 on Scizor
$5? Heck, no, I'm not betting $5 or anything.
making 2+ top 32 performances?
2?
Two or more.
I wouldn't take it.
Okay.
That's not a good bet.
You wouldn't take that bet. You wouldn't take that bet at 3-1 odds.
Nah.
Exactly. Okay. I think that's the kicker, because it's like one could squeak in because it hit Kevin 7 Mega Guardy / Mega Ray, but I think it's just inherently just a bad and inconsistent deck.
I think it's one of those decks like Mega Eelektrik where you look at it and it's like, why is anyone playing this deck? It 2-hit KOs everything and it has nothing special about it, but just having that consistent 2-hit KO along with some other effect, the energy acceleration for Eelektrik, and then the disruption with Scizor, I think that's just enough to make a decent deck where I don't think you're gonna outplay anyone. You can just beat people because of matchups and just as your deck sets up every single game you play.
I mean, I think energy acceleration is a much bigger deal than discarding a stadium or a special energy. I think that's why Mega Eelektrik is fringe decent, and I don't think Scizor is fringe anything.
All right, so basically the answer is no.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so here's 2 questions in one. It's asked. Let's see. Okay, I know they're not they're kind of the same, but they're not the same. How would you prevent someone from slow playing you? And are there too many ties in Pokemon TCG? And how would you fix it? And they're kind of like the same thing, right? And
right.
Slow play / tying. Yeah. How would you fix this problem? Let's go with Andrew. I think you would have a good answer here. That giggle gives me all the good. That's a good answer already. We're good.
Yeah, so the way to prevent slow playing is to bother your opponent about the pace of play and then call a judge on them when they continue slow playing. I'm actually really bad about this, and I just kind of sit back and don't bother because I've never had good help from the judges in regards to slow playing. And then bothering the opponent doesn't do anything. If they're going to slow play, they're going to slow play anyhow. So you have to be in an area with good judges in the first place, and then you have to rely on the judging. But so many games, you just sit there, you can play fast. I had a game where I conceded the first game of the series on turn 2, and then we tied just because my opponent played so slow. The other good way to prevent it is to 2-0 them. That way you don't die.
Why doesn't everybody just do that?
That's what I try to do. It doesn't always work out.
Solid plan.
But the way to fix it would probably to just be increasing the time limit to 60 minutes, and then just that extra 10 minutes I think would eliminate most ties.
55 minutes.
Yep.
You're gonna have people be like, if only I had 5 more minutes, we wouldn't have tied still.
No, they always will. That's fine.
55-minute rounds are amazing.
So I think we just go back best of 1 Swiss.
Oh my gosh, Kevin, don't get me started. Kevin knows I want to fight somebody over this.
I was serious, by the way, but we don't have to get into that.
What?
All
right, so
I was just gonna add, basically the number one way is to talk to your opponent, can you pick up the pace? But actually, there's a couple little things that I do. Well, number one is I just try to play super fast myself. Just basically because if you get comfortable enough with your deck that you know you're making the right decision, you can play super fast. And the other thing is a lot of people when they're playing slow, they're not really intentionally playing slow. They just kind of get lost in their own thoughts. Like if they're shuffling for an N or something, and they're shuffling for like a really long time because they're just thinking about other stuff. They're like just lost in their own mind. So like sometimes I'll like kind of lean in or like reach to cut their deck before they're done shuffling, or like little motions can kind of snap them out of their trance or whatever. And usually that actually gets them to like pick it up. So try that at your next regionals.
At this regionals.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I mean those are pretty much it. I mean, you have to like the thing that people aren't thinking about, and I kind of came to a head with me at the last regionals, is you're playing for a lot of money right now. Like even if you're just playing to make day 2, you're playing for $250 and a box or two, so like total of $320 to $400. You paid a lot of money to beat this regionals. Like, no, don't take any crap from your opponents. Like, you need to like, and there are different levels to it. Like if they're like really slow, it's just kind of like, can you make a move? Could you pick up your pace a little bit, please? Sometimes I'll wait between games to say something. If it gets really bad, just whip your hand up, get to a judge. If the judge doesn't help you, ask to talk to the head judge. I mean, you kind of have to be really forceful about it. It's hard to combat slow play, but I mean, if you're really resilient about it, you can do it. Other small things, like if you get a ruling in your match, ask for a time extension. If the judges go off and talk about the ruling for 5 minutes and give you a 2-minute time extension, ask for a longer time extension. Like people will do stuff if you ask. But yeah, and I think some of the things Kevin was talking about, like reaching to cut their deck, or like sometimes people take a long time shuffling, or like if your opponent tries to pile shuffle in during a game, tell them to stop. You know, it's like there are a lot of things, and it's like because I was playing Vileplume at Orlando, and I got like dangerously close to tying a lot. The deck doesn't have any damage output, and it's just inherently slow, and so it bricks like probably once out of every 3 to 5 games, and so you kind of lose a game, and you need to just speed up, and so it's like you just got to play at a breakneck speed, and a lot of that comes with you got to know your deck, you got to know the matchups, because if you know what you're doing and you can you can only play fast if you know what you're doing before you do it.
Yeah.
So if you have to think about things a lot, then so a lot of that falls on you, but a lot of it is just kind of like making sure your opponent doesn't take too long.
I think I'm going to go back to what Alex said about the power shuffling. I know Britt, he either talked to me about it or wrote an article about it, how he used to power shuffle, but now that he doesn't power shuffle anymore, he doesn't tie as much as he used to. I think
like between games or like during games?
Between games.
Yeah, there are some times when I'm in a pretty slow match or I know I need to speed up, I won't pile shuffle. I'll just like riffle a couple more times than normal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the problem with that is like if you decide you don't pile shuffle, that's fine, but your opponent still could, and then it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like done shuffling and you like set your deck out, they're more likely to finish up their shuffling than if you're still shuffling.
Yeah.
Because if you just sit there and shuffle forever and they're just like doing the same thing and you're both sitting there for like 5 minutes shuffling, that happens sometimes.
Just staring at each other for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Just get lost in each other's eyes. Just like,
That's Kevin's plan. If he beats you game 1, he's just going to shuffle for 5 minutes while staring at you. You're like, oh, damn, Kevin's so beautiful. Let me just keep shuffling. I can't be mad at Kevin.
Before.
got me.
All right.
Another thing I wanted to add real fast.
You good?
I do agree. I think like 55 or 60 minutes would help. I don't think it necessarily does a lot in terms of really doing like, I don't know, like giving you more time to finish games. But because we're so used to 50 minutes, then having 55 or 60 minutes could really help. And I even think doing 55 or 60 minutes and getting rid of +3 would be fine. Because the problem, like the argument against like a longer round time is that it's going to make the tournament go slower. But if you get rid of the +3, that time was already being used. Like we're like +3 is already adding 10 minutes to every round. And TOs are always getting on the mic saying just because you're in +3 doesn't mean you can play slow. But people are just playing so like methodically and trying to make sure they don't make any mistakes or make sure they have a tie if they want or a win if they want it, whatever. And so it's like you could get rid of that. I think there'd be a lot less ties. I don't think ties are that big of a problem right now. I think that was like the second part of the question that we kind of just ignored. I don't think they're that bad, but I don't think they're that bad because they can be avoided a lot more than they are.
Yeah, it's not terrible if you know you're against somebody that's like more experienced. I think the problem comes in when you get a bunch of players that came over from a different game per se, and they're used to a game where they just kind of sit there and think about their hand for a year, and like they're literally just draw, think about their hand, play one card, and like they're used to that in their other game. So like I can see that being more of a problem with playing against those people.
And one thing, actually, I played against a VGC player at Worlds who was playing TCG.
At Worlds?
Yeah. It was. I'll say it was Sajin Park. He didn't get an invite this year for VGC because Korea has like a single elimination nationals or something. But he won their nationals, so he got an invite for TCG. And he was like, and I could see it really quickly that he was like taking a long time to think about his turns and do his plays. And I know that's because they have a 45-second timer or something in VGC, and so it doesn't matter how long you take because you have that entire time to make your moves. And I had to ask him very quickly, and a couple times, like, could you speed up your turns because it's just so slow. And I think the conditioning from other games really impacts that.
All right, since Wamball's question during that question, we'll ask him this: are frogs still a deck in standard? Since there's a lot of the Garbodor hype.
Yeah, I think they are. Like they, even with all the Garbodor in Orlando, they did pretty well, and then they did pretty well in Europe again with a lot of Garbodor. I don't think it's amazing. It's not something I'd play, but I think it has enough like good matchups in its favor that it's always going to be one of those decks that can put a lot of people in top 32. But I don't think it's like favored to win a tournament ever. Because like at some point, I'd imagine if you're playing Greninja, somewhere along the way in like a top 8, you're going to hit a Garbodor deck and just get knocked out. So I think it's hard to find a justification to play Greninja when you know you probably won't win the tournament. But if you're just trying to get like day 2, then I think it's a good enough deck for that.
Anybody else want to add on to Greninja or nah?
No, I pretty much agree with what he said.
Yeah, I've never been the biggest fan of it, but obviously if they're not playing Garbodor, then you have a chance. So.
True.
I just think it's way too risky to take a near auto loss to Garbodor. Like, I don't know, Michael Slusky just wrote like a whole article about it, and he had like the promo Greninja and a Lysander and a Beedrill in his Greninja list, and still like listed all of them Garbodor matches would be unfavorable. And so it's just like I would never play that.
Yeah. So let's see. The next question is: Mewtwo seems to have fallen off the radar. Is this only attributed to Gardevoir hype or something else? We'll go with Kevin first.
It's probably mostly Gardevoir hype. It's just kind of the hot thing right now, and it's like really, really bad against Gardevoir. So people are kind of afraid that like there's going to be too much of it. I probably wouldn't play it. It's also just been around for a while, so people kind of know what to expect with it and know how to play against it. So it's not going to like surprise anybody. It'll probably still do decent at Fort Wayne.
Okay. Anybody else want to add on to Mega Mewtwo or no?
Yeah, I think
Go ahead, you're fine.
It seems really good still, as it's bad matchup. But I don't know why people are so freaked out over Mewtwo's bad matchup when like so many other decks have some blatantly bad matchups. So I think if you play Mewtwo, like you can take that one loss and then still easily win a tournament with Mega Mewtwo, just because it's such a powerful concept, being able to one-hit KO almost anything, and then being able to damage change everything off if they can't one-hit KO you. So, like, at least when I play online, I'm still seeing a lot of Mewtwo, like, more than any other deck. So, like, when I saw that, like, no one played it in Europe, I was like, okay. So, I'm not going to take that regional as serious because, like, I feel like the meta that shows on PTCGO usually shows up for our regionals. So if people still are playing it a lot, while people are also playing a lot of Gardevoir on PTCGO, I think both groups of players will show up to Fort Wayne. And like I think some people who played Mewtwo might stop playing it just because they get freaked out. But I think a lot of people are still going to stick with it. And I think there's like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players and stuff who, when they came into the season, they bought a Mega Mewtwo deck, and that's the only deck they have. So if people only have a Mega Mewtwo deck, they're going to be forced.
They don't
into
have any
playing that
problem buying another $300 deck. What's your opinion, Andrew, of the other Mega Mewtwo?
It seems okay. It's a lot better with the new Mewtwo EX from Evolutions because you can more consistently get the energy you need on it. I haven't tested it, but like
Don't lie to us.
There's pretty good theory around it. Like it can knock out Red Joyce and stuff like that. So
Oh, it can.
It goes through
I didn't
anything.
know it could do that.
It's basically G Booster.
it has more
Except you don't have to
HP. Yeah. And it has more HP, so it's harder to knock out than the other one. And it does a consistent 200, which is pretty good.
I agree. I think like the Gardevoir hype kind of makes the Mewtwo hype die down. There's that new Evolutions Mewtwo that was played in some of the decks in Europe. But yeah, I mean, I think it's relatively just as good as those before, and yeah, I think also the other big thing is that I mean it had 2 top 8 placements at Orlando, but like very quickly lost to some bad matchups. But I think like a Ranger could shore up both the Vileplume and the Giratina matchups, so I don't think it's bad.
Okay, and someone said with the way the meta has formed, is Garbodor still worth running in decks, or should we just take it out altogether? Okay, so when I played Mega Scizor the other day, I took out the Garbodor and like it ran so much smoother. But I think Garbodor is still very needed. What do y'all think? We'll go with Alex first.
Yeah, I would definitely play Garbodor. I mean, if you're playing a Mega deck, you need it to beat Greninja. I mean, I guess unless you're playing like a couple Hex or something. I mean, it's super good against Vileplume. Doesn't win you the game, but it like lets you win the game. I don't know. There's just a lot of decks that it helps against, and Greninja. Yeah, I think like Greninja could just run over the field if there was no Garbodor.
That's true.
I would play it.
Andrew, yes or no? Garbodor worth it?
Let's see. I have my deck right here. Let's see.
Oh, he has his regionals deck already with him. Let's see what's in it, boys.
Oh, man.
So I'm gonna say yeah.
So Andrew's playing some kind of Garbodor
seems
deck.
really
Watch
good.
out. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, it's still just really good. Like if there's no Garbodor, the format would be so different. But I don't know. I'm curious to see if people will take Garbodor decks and then just like take out the Garbodor and make a more streamlined version to beat all the Garbodor decks, because that's what people used to do with the other Garbodor before this one. It would go in kind of cycles of the meta where like you play big basics with Garbodor, and then to beat that you would play big basics without Garbodor.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see if people will do that, but I
Especially
think it's still
now that
just really good.
Now that we have Hex, like I think, I think Big Basics, and Yveltal back in like 2013, 2014 could have been like good decks if we had Hex and VS Seeker.
Right.
Like,
and the fact that we don't have Tool Scrapper right now is kind of makes it better to have Garbodor. So.
That's true. All right. So I know this question that everybody's been asking, like in chat, is asked multiple times in Verbank, and I wanted to wait till it's the second to last question I have on Verbank, and probably the biggest question: tier list and top pick for regionals. Like everybody wants it. So if you stick around all this long time to see what our tier lists are, it's asked probably about 30 times in the chat, about 30 times in the Verbic City. So guys, what's your tier list? We'll go top 5, and then obviously your first. I mean, maybe it's not your first pick, but what would you be your pick if you want to say for this weekend? So let's go with Andrew first because he already knows the deck is supposedly.
Okay, so top 5.
Tier list, yeah, tier list, yeah.
I go
Top 5 tiers or top 5 decks?
What says
Top
tier
5
list?
tier.
I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna go
No,
tier
just
list.
top
of,
5
like,
decks. Top 5 decks.
Yeah, top 5 decks. We're not gonna go whole tier list.
All right, you got your list of 30 decks ready?
Yeah, so I'll go number 1, Rainbow. As far as meta decks go, I'm not gonna talk about any rogue decks right now, but Rainbow Road number 1, and then Evital number 2, then Mega Mewtwo number 3, Mega Gardevoir number 4, and and then Vileplume in the top 5, I'd actually put Vileplume as number 2 after Rainbow Road. I just forgot about it when I was starting off.
Spicy.
And then I think as far as meta decks go, either Rainbow Road or Evital just seems super safe. Like, I'd be more leaning towards Rainbow Road just because it has that favorable matchup against Evital, and people seem to be going heavily dark. And I really like that Rainbow Road can knock out anything in one hit. Like, I played it for Philadelphia and expanded, and I think it's a lot better in standard as far as positioning goes. It's just really powerful and super consistent because you play lots of Shamans, Hoopa, so you have a fast engine, so you set up almost every game.
Right, so let's go with Alex.
Okay. So I think top 5 decks, partially on my own thought and partially just kind of what I've been hearing, like as far as the most popular. Yveltal Garb. No, there's no order. Just like Yveltal Garb, Vileplume,
But that's
Mega
the whole point of
Ray.
tier list.
Gardevoir. Yeah. 5th. It doesn't really matter. Like Volcanion maybe. There's a lot of decks that are just like, I mean, like other like Mewtwo, like Rainbow Road's really good. What else was it? Like Dark Giratina, but I think that's kind of fallen off a lot. Yveltal Mew, I guess. I think Garbodor just the way better way to play it. There's just so many decks, but like those 5 are probably the top decks. I was absolutely going to play Vileplume until what time is it? 9:42, like 7 hours ago maybe. And Puka decided to tell us all that the Magearna promo was legal, which it just adds one more thing. Because like for Orlando it was great because nobody's playing Ranger, Raticate didn't exist, Magearna didn't exist. But now with all 3 of those cards, like every deck can put in at least 2 options to beat Vileplume. I don't know what I'm gonna play.
Now, are you
It's really
scared?
upsetting.
Are you scared not to play because you're not going to make day 2, or because you're not going to win the whole tournament with it?
Oh, I'm not gonna make day 2.
Really?
I don't really like my thing. Like going into a tournament, I don't ever think I'm going to win, or like I mean I want to win, but I don't ever think I'm going to win. I don't think of it in that terms. I don't like going like I want to win.
No, my
Like,
whole
that
point
is
of going to tournament is
my
winning.
only goal. My only goal is never just to win. Like if it's a smaller tournament, it's like top 4, or if it's a regional, it's be in the money, make day 2. That's all. Like that's my thought going in. And because you need to go 7-2. Like I don't like ties is stupid. 6-1-2 is stupid. Just shoot for 7-2 every time. And you could just easily play against 2 decks that are favorable matchups, but have a counter. You have a slightly slower setup, and then you lose, and you lose 2 games, and then you lose to a bad matchup. And I think that's something that could happen with Vileplume, and that's why I'm a lot less likely to play it now. I might play it, I don't know.
Don't know about it,
Volcanion's kind of the other one that I really like, but it depends on if Garbodor is going to be played. So, yeah, that's about wraps it up.
All right, Kevin. Your top 5 tier list and deck you pick overall.
I think it's pretty hard to rank them. I would say in a vacuum, I think Mega Gardevoir is the best, just because of the high HP and ability to one-shot stuff and discard all the stuff you don't want on your bench and then get it back with Dragonites. I think if you just looked at Dex power level without considering the meta, Gardevoir is the best. Even with all the possibility of like Parallel City and Garbodor and I don't know, people are playing Scizor, I think it's still pretty well off. So it would be in my top 5. It's really hard to rank it after that. There's probably like 7 or 8 decent decks. I would say Dark with Garbodor is up there. I think Volcanian's underrated. Like I still like Volcanian. I've tested it a little bit recently. Everybody I've seen like online and stuff are saying that it loses to Gardevoir and Mega Ray, and that's just not true.
Have you played against Gardevoir?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't actually played that matchup. Like I know it can beat Mega Ray,
It's
but I haven't seen it against Gardevoir.
I think Volcanian's actually really bad against Gardevoir now that Rattata's out. Because
It's not about
or I guess
surviving a hit. It's about you're faster than them and you're trading one shots. So you take the first kill and then you just trade back and forth and back and forth.
the thing I had was I was outspeeding them because they're relying on the mini Volcanian to set up while I was going all in on turn 2. But I guess it depends on the Guardy list because I have my list built with like 3 Super Rod aiming to just recycle Pokemon every turn. But like the list that actually has been doing well, they typically have just been playing like really low Pokemon counts, like a 4-3 Guardy, like 4 Shaman and 2 or 3 Hoopa, and not like really caring about recovery. So if you play against like that type of list, I think Volcanian has edge. But just Rattata allowing Gardevoir to, and then I also play 2 Hex too, so I'm hitting them with Rattata and then hexing them to prevent 1-hit KOs back.
I mean, I just don't think it's as bad as people are saying it is. It only takes 3 steam ups to kill a Gardevoir.
3
So
steam
if they don't hex,
Volcanian EX.
if they don't hex, and you hit at least 2 of your max elixirs, then it's not a bad matchup. So I don't know. I think it's better than people give it credit for, so I think it's underrated. I don't know if I'll play it just because I'm afraid of Garbodor, obviously, which is bad for it. I don't know. If I had to pick a deck right this second, it'd probably be just some sort of Eviltal with Garbodor, but I haven't decided yet.
All right. I mean, I guess my top 5 list, like, it changes every day. Like, every day I look at Pokemon and I think of, like, this deck is now the best deck in my head. And I'm like, oh, this is why this deck beats everything. Then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, oh, this is why this deck's, like, the best deck. And it changes ever again. Like, I think I changed, like, I literally have 3 decks on me right now that are halfway built because I keep changing decks every day. And I just keep, I'm like, oh, this is the deck I'm playing for Fort Wayne. And I'm literally going to a friend's house tomorrow just to borrow cards because I think I'm playing it. And I just decided today I might play for Fort Wayne. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, Standard's so weird right now. I don't know what's good. Like, everything's good, kind of, right now. Which I hate and love at the same time. But there's not, like, I don't think there's, like, a solid, like, great deck besides Evitar Dark. And I don't know. I can never play that deck again.
There's just not a counter.
Huh?
And there's just no counter.
Yeah.
Like, there's just too many decks to counter everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, my biggest, I guess, solution to this tier list thing is pick your favorite one. Don't tech it out. Try to at least know how to beat all the decks and just take your auto losses. And that's how Pokemon works kind of right now. So like we said earlier, like in Dortmund, like Raiku Eelektrik should have obviously won. Like he should have probably won that top 8, like looking at his pairings. But he got pooed on in top 8 because he dead drew, and that's how he lost. So this is how Pokemon is sometimes. So I don't know. That'd be my biggest suggestion. But top 5 probably all same. Rainbow Road be my favorite deck to play right now. I love Galvantula and Bisharp. They're really good. I love them still. So, yep. All right. So the next question is to everyone. Given the current information available, how many players do you expect to earn an invitation to Worlds this year? All right. So let's take it in. How many players are going to earn an invitation to Worlds? So 500 points. League Cups are about halfway done, and we have not played any of them yet. We've had 3 regionals.
Europe's played League Cups.
They played 2 League Cups. That's 100 points to whoever won those. If the same person won twice.
Are they having one in London?
Probably not, because America is going to be there.
That's fair.
So guys, how many people are going to get a Worlds invite this year? We'll go with Alex.
Are we talking from America or from the whole? Let's just talk from North America.
Sure, North America. We'll go with that one.
And then are we operating under the assumption that League Cups ever exist?
We don't know. That's the gamble.
It says with the current information available.
Oh, okay. That's dumb. That's a dumb question. No, because it's like that question is saying with 0 League Cups and with 500 points, how many invites will we have? And the answer is, well, we've got 3 from Worlds so far, and we'll probably get 10 more. But if you either assume that the point structure changes, or that, and it will, they have a number of players that they want for Worlds. They always do by the time they book the venue.
Except for last year.
No, they still had a number that they wanted. They were just dumb. No, the VGC was the problem. There was way too many international VGC players. That was like the problem from Worlds. But if you're either saying that the point structure will change or that we'll get League Cups in some way, I think with the 500 point structure, roughly 250 players would get invites for North America.
How many was it last year?
400? 380?
Just from North America?
No, it was like 380 day one. Oh, from North America. No, I'm making the rules and then I'm just ignoring them.
I think it's 243 people actually showed up.
Yeah.
243 from North America, you said last year, my boat?
Yeah, I think a few more got invites but didn't show up.
Okay.
242 North American people had invites last year.
I would like half. Nah, I don't think it'd be that low. I'd say like 160 invites.
With
from North
what?
America.
With what again? Like 500 still, or like with the changing
With 500, and we'll say league with either 500 and League Cup start next month, or they change the point structure.
The 300.
To 300 with no League Cups or something like that, you know.
I'd agree with that statement. What about you, Kevin?
That seems fine. I don't know. Like less than last year, obviously.
Yeah, I think they understand that they want less than last year, but I think they do have a large-ish venue that they want to fill.
As long as it's not in the basement again, we should be okay. I think that's what killed us last year.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would
The
prefer.
separate rooms was kind of weird.
I would prefer. I get like the large room. Separate rooms is weird, but I would still prefer it to DC. That was the most cramped room ever.
All right, what about you, Andrew? I know you probably have a thought out answer.
Assuming that we have League Cup start in January and have 3 quarters with them, and they keep it at 500, I think we'll have around 30 players from North America get invites.
30?
And yeah,
That's a very low number.
Incredibly low.
I think they'll change it in some way or add like those like last chance for championship point things.
The special events.
Yeah,
Special events.
I think something weird is gonna happen where what it takes to get an invite changes, and I think they're gonna aim for like maybe like 100 to 150 North American players. But as it is right now, I think it's pretty hard to stack the points you need from regionals.
I don't think it's
to
that hard at
actually
all.
get-
Alex, you're
Because, like,
crazy to think that like
no,
300
okay.
points from regionals is not hard at all.
No, but you don't need 300 points from regionals. Like I'm assuming that League Cups exist, and so
But-
if in the first quarter you got 20 to 25 points from league challenges, then in the rest of the season you got like 250 points from League Cups, which is probably not that unlikely.
Look, you made Kevin leave.
Bye, Kevin. I mean, it's like then if you need 230 points divided by 8 regionals, that's like 240 divided by 8 is like an average of 30 points per regional. So you have to either do really well at a regional and then get some kicker points, or just get a lot of top 32, top 64 finishes.
But
Which I don't think either one of those is that hard for a world's caliber player. And I think, and because we had over 60 players get 500 points in 2014,
Well-
plus several other players who like just barely missed it. And I think there are more players at that caliber now, and I think a lot of them want to travel. And so I think at the very minimum, we would have 75 invites, but I think we'd get more.
all right.
Well, so last year we had 48 people get to 500, and now the game's like double the size.
Mhm.
So I think we can expect that to like get in half, and I think League Cups are going to be a lot harder to get points from than people think, just because I think the attendance will be
It's gonna be huge.
so high.
But you
Like-
can go to so many. Like, if
Theoretically.
if you drive 2.5 hours, and they're not scheduled like in the TOs in a general vicinity schedule them not like idiots, you can hit 8 per quarter
But the thing
without
is,
any difficulty.
But I don't
TOs,
think
that's-
peop-
TOs aren't the ones scheduling them either.
Sure.
I don't think people are actually going to go to that many tournaments. So, like, I think
That's fine.
there's
Then
going
they're
to
not
be
world's competitive
be a
players. If you're
Yeah.
a world's caliber player, you're gonna do well at the tournaments. And you're gonna travel to a lot because you want invites.
Yeah, but not everyone's going to travel, so you're going to have like that little group of players who tries traveling to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then some of them will get invites, like some of them will travel a lot and not get invites. I think the majority of players are just going to stick around like what's local, because I don't think most people want to spend like all their money driving to, or spend all their weekends and stuff driving to League Cups every single weekend to grind out points.
I think they should just bring back cities. Like,
And states.
I don't think it is the problem. It's just that there were high level or high point value states that most everybody could get to 2 or 3 within 3 hours,
yeah.
roughly.
I mean, maybe like Wamball said, maybe they'll have like these special events that happen to be Tennessee special event and Arkansas special events, and that's how they sneak in there and have like fake states, but also like
Yeah, we'll see
more
if those happen.
events.
But I think we have actually less regionals this year
We do.
too than we did, and then we don't have states. So, like, and then I feel like the points are just going to get so spread out from the regionals where only a few players are going to clump together a lot of points. Because if we only had 48 people get to 500 with more events and more championship points overall with states and more regionals taken into account, I just can't see it having more players and that being able to do it this year.
Well, that's a wholly different story because that's with a best finish limit of 4, regionals were with less points, and with 300 points being the invite, a lot of players just stopped at that point, especially after they saw how many points you would need to get a day 2 invite, being at least 600 from last year, and ended up being 650 plus. And then also, not a lot of players who had already had an invite or even had more than a couple hundred points made top 8 at nationals, and that really like made it look like there were a lot less players who, because I mean, if a couple more players who had already had invites made top 8 at nationals, then they would have had over 500 points. And so I mean, I think if the invite was 500, we would have seen at least 70 players get it last year because they would have tried harder.
I think the main problem I have with this year's points is that they had 500 and still expect to do a day 1, day 2. Like, why not just bring back grinders if you've gotten like 200 championship, like 200 points or something? I don't know why.
Maybe they just want like a really small day 2, like a regional size day 2 or something like that.
But it's gonna be so hard regardless to get like, I don't know. Like, let's see, like.
But then there's like 50 something people getting day 2 invites, so I guess it's not gonna happen.
Like,
if less people have day 2,
you're good.
If less people have the day 2 invites, or day 1 invites, it becomes a lot easier to advance to day 2 as well. So even though I think it's like harder to get to Worlds this year and less people will actually do it, the benefit for actually going to Worlds will be a lot better this year. Because if you're playing in like a 120 player day 1 or something like that, and you just have to go 4-2 to advance, that makes just making the trip out to Worlds so much better than it was like last year when you had to go 6-2, I think, to advance.
Yep. If it was 4-2 last year, I would have made it in.
so also the other thing is you can also count 4 international events towards your points, and we kind of totally ignored that.
Yeah, but that's too
and
crazy.
So if it was 300 points, is like, I don't know, if you're a semi-competitive player and you go to all 4 internationals, that's the balance. That's the balance, is that they need to balance it between just being pay to play only, and also like there being any skill like really required. Because like if you went to Asia Pacific and you went to South America nationals, I think any decent player, any player who could top 32 a regional, could get at least 150 points from those 2 events.
All right, let's go to South Africa then. Let me go book me a flight real quick. Let me go spend 1,500 real quick. Whatever.
Don't go to South Africa.
That's what I'm saying.
What did I say?
You said South Africa.
South Africa. We'll go there too. They might.
South Africa had like a special event or a regional or something that Indonesia could play in. But no, I think they need to balance it between just being only pay for an invite and having skill, and I think that's kind of the point of 500, is that you need to do both in a smaller amount instead of just do one or the other.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens throughout the year. Like everybody else says. Well, Kevin really didn't say it, but I think the point structure might change. Like maybe man, if we have some good friends in Pokemon, which we think we do, we have a good friend in Pokemon who might help us out some of these. Like, hey guys, we really messed it up, guys. We should really help them out. He might help us out.
The thing about it is, the first time somebody said it this year, I was like, "You're dumb. That's never gonna happen." But then I kind of thought back, and back in 2014 when they first did the 500 point, I think Dave Schwimmer had this big long post on PokeGym talking about we have a certain number of players we want there. We want to fill the venue. We don't want it to look empty. It's a big PR thing for us, like that Worlds has to look full and have a lot of players, and so we have a certain number that we want to be there. And he said at the time, 500 looks like a lot, and if we get to a point in the season where we don't think we're going to hit the number of players that we want, we will reevaluate the point structure and potentially lower it. And he said that exactly that they could lower it. And because he said that before, I think there is potential precedent that they might do it this year.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still under the fine line of cutting league cups and try again next year kind of thing. I don't know. Why are you gonna create a whole new system and not be ready to go is my whole issue.
Yeah, and how hard was it? How hard is it to say you can run league cups? That's already in the system apparently because they're doing it in Europe. And they already have the point structure laid out, and they already have the prizes laid out. It's exactly cities. And they have the same thing, it's game stores are running them, whatever, and they're already doing that with pre-releases. So all the pieces are there. All you have to just say is go, and they'll happen.
Just turn the button on. That's all they have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wonder who so these league cups that we have are only regionals ones, right? I wonder if it's Pokemon who sets them up, or is it the actual because there's not a card store there who sets it up.
Right.
So who's setting up these at the league? I mean, at the regionals is my question.
It's a TO. It's just the same way they set up a league challenge. There's no reason they can't just say, start doing them. Like it makes no sense whatsoever that we don't have them.
Yeah. Alright. Kevin said my internet's getting sleepy. But guys, yeah, that's all the questions we have for Verbank. If Kevin does look like he's asleep right now. If there's any questions in YouTube, I don't know who's all here still that wants to answer us something real quick, let us know. But we pretty much covered a lot for regionals. I mean, it's been like almost an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more than that this call's been going on, or this stream's been going on. So, if anybody has any questions, let me know. But besides that, how's everybody doing? Great, fantastic. All right, Kevin's dead. I guess he must be sleepy. I'll go with. Do you think Evotal can beat Gardy? What do you think, Andrew? No. Yes or no?
I think
yes.
I think it can.
Kevin said
I don't
yes.
think. I don't think it's favorable at all. It seems pretty bad, but Evotal people swear by being able to beat it. I don't know how that's happening, but
somebody show me how to do it.
I wouldn't want to be the Evotal player in that matchup.
Can Evotal beat Gardevoir?
I hope so.
No, because it's like
I don't see it, but I hope
you would
so.
like want to pitch Dark Sphere or pitch Black Sphere, whatever. You
pitch Dark Sphere, boys.
60-60, whatever. And they go, oh, that's cute. You put 60 on my bench Pokemon. I'm just going to discard it. And you go, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. You did 40 to my active Pokemon. Or like with a Yveltal, you're doing 20 less. That's so hard to do. And if you don't one-shot them and they get into a good spot, they can just discard their own Gardevoir. Or maybe they're playing Fairy Drop. It's just like, I think it's completely insurmountable.
Yeah. Somebody said, will Healing Shaman and Hex be good and Evotal Archeops for Fort Wayne? Well, you would not be able to play because it's standard. So you're going to change your deck because it's standard. But I guess, is Healing Shaman and Hex good in Evotal Archeops overall?
Seems like a waste of space.
I think Healing Shaman is overall bad.
Shaman's never bad. Shut your mouth.
And I think Hex is good in almost every deck. So.
Alright, Kevin, will the new Greninja promo impact the format?
Not really. Maybe people will stop playing Gyarados. That's about it. I don't know why you'd play Gyarados in the first place, but...
Oh yeah, my goodness.
People like playing bad decks. People like playing quote-unquote fun decks. That's why. But otherwise,
yeah.
Bad deck.
Someone said, in Fort Wayne, do you think people will tech for Guardy due to general hype? I mean, there's not really, you already talked about this, there's not really a tech for it. You either play like...
Gardevoir EX.
We're playing the Gardevoir EX, sure, but I mean, like, what, you're playing like Mega Scizor to maybe try to beat it, but then you're going to lose to everything else kind of thing? So, someone said Rainbow Road will be a top deck in the format. How can you say that when Hex is so prominent? How's Rainbow Road doesn't use any abilities?
I mean, it kind of needs abilities to set up.
What? Not mine. Not mine. What are you talking about?
Shaman. I don't know.
Yeah, you need like a Shaman, but like.
What if you got a steam up?
I don't play any fire to do so impossible.
Oh, you're misplaying.
If you steam up away a burning energy, do you get to keep it in your hand?
To really answer your question, you can't steam up a burning energy, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh shucks.
Shuckles.
My whole regional's deck down the drain.
Maybe if like the burning energy was like the old energies, you could be able to, but not anymore. If it was like old dark and old metal, you could. How many total copies of Perilous City will be in top 8? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say. All right, so 5 of the 8 are playing at least 2 Perilous Cities. I'm gonna say at least 10. 10 Perilous Cities gonna be top 8.
I was gonna say like 10 or 12. I think some will probably have like 3 of them. There's gonna be a lot.
Damn. I would say 6.
Decks. Huh.
Either 2 decks of 3 or 3 decks of 2.
I go 4.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Two
I
de-
don't think
two
it's
decks
that
with
high.
2.
Somebody's playing Mega Ray.
Because I mean, like, yeah, because it's like I think Mega Ray. I would if I had to pick a top 8. Mega Ray would be 1 or 2. Vileplume would be 1 or 2. Gardevoir would be 1 or 2. And I don't think any of those decks are playing parallel.
I think it's gonna be like 2, maybe 1 Evital and 1 Mewtwo, maybe 3 of some combination of those, and then I think it's gonna be like Rainbow Road, Gardevoir, Ray, stuff that doesn't play it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
All right, so this question is to Alex. Thoughts on Ranger Tech and Evital Garb for Plume Box, Regice, etc. Not sure how necessary for Fort Wayne.
I don't know if it's really necessary. I would almost just rather play like a Hex, so you can put a tool on your Garbodor, and then you can just use your VS Seekers to get like Lysanders and knock stuff out. The Ranger could help, I guess, to take 1 knockout on a Jolteon, like that could swing it, but like it's so hard to find your 1 Ranger and not have to discard it at a certain time. It wouldn't be my first tech choice. Like, I mean, I think I would even rather put a Flare Grunt in as the tech, to like end them down, then discard the energy off the Jolteon and take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way better bet is just get the quick Garbodor, or take early prizes because they're slow, and then pitch Spear, whatever, do 60 to
Pitch Dark
snipe.
Spear.
Sure, whatever. To snipe down their Shamans, or Manaphy's, and take another couple prizes there. Or use a Lysander to take a couple prizes. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's a good matchup. I don't think the Ranger really helps it that much, but I think it's winnable without Ranger.
All right. Someone said, is the new Xerneas with energy type good combined with break? What? I don't know. Next question. How well is Dark Tina gonna do? Kevin, how well is Dark Tina gonna do?
Worse than its other Dark deck. I don't think it's as good as Evital right now.
I think everybody agree with that Evital Garb is just way better. Where do you rank Tina Garb? Hammers or no? Whamball, how would you rank Tina Garb?
Oh, I don't like the deck. I don't
Same.
think it's gonna do very good. Maybe it's like the 8th or 9th best deck, somewhere around there.
I don't think it's terrible, because I mean, like, you can beat most mega decks that aren't Gardevoir.
Yeah.
But I mean, you auto lose to Garbodor or Gardevoir if the Gardevoir player is playing an all decent list and knows what they're doing, like knows how to play their cards. But yeah, I mean, I think it's easily tier 2 or tier 3. I'd expect 1 or 2 in top 32, but none to make top 8.
All right. Hammers or no? Probably not. Like I don't like hammers. I know
You
Kevin
can
would
play-
definitely say no. He doesn't want to play against you if you're having hammers, so he would definitely tell you not to play them.
Play 1 or 2 enhanced, but I wouldn't play crushing ever.
Yeah, no crushing, but definitely 1 or 2 enhanced. I would agree with that for sure. Why isn't there more talk about Volcanion? Only hard matchup to see is Mewtwo. We've already answered this. Garbodor pretty much poos on you, and yeah. Garbodor is so necessary, yes. Alright, so here's another question for Alex. Somebody said, I just got here, so I'm not sure if you already talked about this, but does this news of Magearna promo being legal affect anything?
Yes. Yeah, or yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just one more card that makes Vileplume worse. And I think it also really good. Like, it could be good against Rainbow Road. It's hard that it's a metal energy, so it's hard to splash. But I mean, if you were already somehow playing metal energies or didn't have like a colorless energy required, like in Rayquaza, I think you should play the Magearna.
Fair enough. Alright, Wimble, this question's for you since you are rogue deckish. Thoughts on Yon Mega in this format?
I hate Yan Mega. It's like there's so much Garbodor that, like, in so many matchups, you're just gonna have a useless card you can't attack with. There's better stuff you could play than Mega. Like if you're playing Vespiquen, like Zebstrika or Raichu or Zoroark or so many. Basically, any other stage 1 that attacks for DP is a better choice than Mega.
So the thoughts is negative, I guess, is the answer. Alright, so toss around thoughts about the so-called underground example. Gyarados, well, everybody pretty much has Gyarados here. Made Kevin just quit again. So obviously, people thought about it. Garchomp.
There's a Garchomp deck?
Shut up.
There's always a Garchomp deck.
There's always a Garchomp deck. Kevin, thoughts on Garchomp?
Which one? The
More than one?
Dragon Rush.
I don't know. The fighting one?
Yeah,
the
the
colorless
fighting
one. Level X from Supreme Victors.
The
That was
Garchomp
cool.
VX?
Level
Shut
X.
Garchomp EX.
Oh,
Yeah.
EX. Yeah, that's a good card too.
We're talking about Mock Cut here. That's a good one.
No, we have a
Garchomp
new
Altaria.
Garchomp VX that came out
We have
like
a
3
new
days
one?
ago.
Oh,
Oh.
jeez. What is
It has
this
a
card?
Mega too.
Oh man.
Is it legal for Fort Wayne?
No,
Then
but
we're
you
not
can
talking
play it
about
in
it here.
London, I think.
It's probably bad, right? I mean, I think it might be okay.
Oh yeah, it's really, really bad.
Quick look. The Garchomp itself is bad.
It gets worse if you see the Mega.
30 is 30 for a fighting, or 100 for a water fighting colorless. That's the regular. So it's terrible.
Holy cow.
And the Mega is water fighting colorless for 180 with 210 HP and weakness to fairy. So like already put it away. But it also does 10 times the number of damage counters to itself that are already on
There
it.
you go. You can play that in Gyarados.
So if you put a weakness policy on the Garchomp, and you can take a hit from a Mega Gardevoir, otherwise you cannot. But then if you attack, you don't one-shot the Gardevoir and you knock yourself out.
Huh.
So
Good.
it's
Seems good.
a great card.
What about Typhlosion?
That's a good one.
I mean, if you would like to play a deck with 30 energy cards, then it's a great deck. And if you would not,
Hey,
then
Brock's
it's a really
Grit.
bad deck.
Brock's Grit.
There you go.
Yeah, so let's see. This is what you can do. You can battle compressor all of your non-energy cards out of your deck.
Wait,
then
standard.
Brock's
Hold on,
Grit
calm down there.
energy
Calm down,
cards.
Captain. Don't be cheating against us.
I have inside knowledge that battle compressor is being reprinted in Sun and Moon. So
I hope so.
Oh, seems good. Seems good. Here's a good question. All right, worst deck that'll make day 2 in Fort Wayne. Kevin, go.
Vileplume.
All right, Alex, what about you?
oh man, where's deck that'll make day 2? Darkrai Giratina.
All right, Andrew, you.
Probably Ride. No, I'm not. I don't think Raichu Bass will make it. Gyarados. Gyarados will be the
You think
worst.
Gyarados is gonna make it?
All right,
Yeah, I
all
would have
right.
said Gyarados, but I don't think it's gonna make it.
Let me tell you.
I just
Any Greninja promo.
I got the secret bad deck that's gonna make day 2. Beedrill. There's gonna be one Beedrill deck.
Mega Beedrill?
No, Beedrill, like the sniping Beedrill. It's gonna
Oh,
come in there.
the stage 2
Oh,
Beedrill?
that thing.
Yeah, the stage 2 Beedrill. It's somebody's gonna find one person's gonna at least make day 2 with it.
Is it gonna be you?
Hell no.
Is that your Rogue Tuesday deck?
Oh, dude, if
No,
someone,
that's his Mad Deck Monday. Mad what's Wednesday? Wacky Deck Wednesday.
I think it's way back
Way back
Wednesday, sir.
Wednesday?
Wow. Yeah, it is way back because it's a reprint ish. It looks the same as the old.
Well, it's
Beedrill.
already been on Rogue Tuesday. I've already made a video for it.
Oh
Thank you, sir.
shoot.
Oh, you did?
Shucks.
Like
Oh,
for today,
shuckle.
or?
No, it's like a couple weeks ago, man. Get it right.
Oh,
No,
man.
it was a Fan Friday. I'm pretty sure. Hold on, was it Fan Friday? I don't even know. I know I played it. I think it was for Fan Friday. Actually, I think somebody like voted for me to play it, and I cried a little bit.
Did you win again?
Bad. It was a
How
Fan
many games?
Friday. Fan Friday number 83, Beedrill Swarm. It has 1,211 views.
How many games did you have to play before you got a good enough one to record?
That I don't know. I do not know. Probably a bunch. I think I won one game. I think I won a game quicker than I did with Magnets on Charizard. That was a really hard deck to play. So, yeah. Do you think that Raichu will be good and play Magearna EX with metals?
Hey, that's the
What
deck.
deck? Raichu?
Yeah, Raichu with Magearna EX.
Raichu is really bad. I was like laying it down.
Oh, he is that boy.
After Orlando,
out right now.
After Orlando, I saw that deck. I'm like, oh, this could be the secret to beat everything. I actually played some games with it, and it was terrible. Like, you just lose to your...
Did you have the medals?
No, I didn't have the medal, but I don't know how that
was your problem right there.
You were super hype about it in Philly. You were in our room. Really hype on
he's playing Raichu
on
Garbodor.
Raichu.
Look at him. Look at that
And
boy. He's
then-
playing Raichu Garbodor.
I feel like if you just played it for a single game, then you're like, oh, okay, just kidding.
Look at Andrew. He's playing Raichu Garbodor this weekend coming up. Look at him.
Raichu Garbodor.
With Metal Energy and Magearna EX.
Yeah, all of those things. See, then you can put the metal. You don't get the Garbodor out. You put the metal with the DC on your Raichu, and then they can't enhance hammer it away. No, they can. They still can. They can't Jirachi it away.
There you go.
I did play Evital Raichu Garbodor for States 2 years ago, and
what happened?
I got second, so I'm pretty sure
Wait,
I
why
can
did you
play
get
almost
second?
like 2 years ago.
No, but why?
Because Domphin something with Groudon.
Something with Groudon? Like, who made
Yeah,
that list?
I don't know. I saw a video on Team Fish Knuckles where he interviewed the champion.
Did he at least give you credit?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
he
so.
did.
No,
So
dude,
for
that's good.
anybody who doesn't know the story, Wamble lost to a Domphin deck that he had made and posted on his website in the finals of the States.
Good times.
It almost happened again this year too. I was in like the top 4 against Brandon Flowers, and I opened Best Pick Win Mirror match, and I lost the coin flip. So I'm like, well, here we go again.
Pack it up, boys.
But then you did it. We both won a States that weekend.
Oh yeah.
That's good times right there. That's a good memory right there, Wamball. Just messaged you, hey, I won. You're like, hey, I won too. We're like, cool, yeah. We did it, guys. And then nobody else won a States with it.
I tried. Almost did it.
Almost is not as good as me, Wamball.
It won like 4 states, I thought.
Don't lie to me, Andrew. Don't do this to me. Come on. Just say that
Hold
me
up.
and you're the
Hold
only one
up.
who
Yep.
won.
Hold up, he's got the
Why do
numbers.
you have to do this, Andrew? You could be like, yeah, we're the only people who won States with Best Queen. Oh, boom.
What? I think someone else even won on the first weekend too. So
Why are you doing this, Andrew?
yeah, four people got first place with it. 4 people got second. 10 people in the top 4, and 10 people in the top 8.
Who else won besides us two?
Let's
Culture Decker.
I think Iowa got Zach Zaharis won with it.
Alright, so Iowa doesn't count. Second place was Daisy the
What
Goat.
does it count? What the heck?
Daisy.
Let's see.
Yeah, Iowa hasn't been relevant since your hero, Squeaky.
I think it won in the last week, maybe. Or it won twice in week 4. Yeah, Coulter Decker was the other one in Canada.
That doesn't count.
That
That's not a
doesn't count either.
state. That's not a state.
It's a provincial.
Yeah, I
same
don't care
thing.
what it is. It's not states. I don't care. So, all right, but guys, we're about to head out here. It's been like a good 2 hours that this video's been going on. So if you're watching this whole video, thank you for going along that long. I mean, there's people still in YouTube land. talking to us. There's a bunch of questions, guys, but a lot of these have already been answered. If I said Mega Ampharos is where it's at.
Press 1 if you've been here the whole time.
I hope it's my Alex, thanks. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
I'd love to see somebody from
Another
Montana
rep.
win Worlds. Montana a state?
Does Montana ever have anybody with invites?
I don't know.
Is Montana an instrument?
Michael Hopkins has been here the whole time.
Yeah, he has. Got a lot of ones
Murphy
now.
just joined in saying, "Will
That's
I
a
win
lot of people.
regionals?" Probably not. Kevin, sorry, you probably won't your girlfriend probably win regionals over you. Like, she's out there
What?
beating people in league challenges. You just sitting at home playing Sun and Moon. So.
I don't even have Sun and Moon yet.
I have both
Don't
the
get 'em.
games. I literally.
Don't get 'em.
Oh, guys, I got both the games for $55 and a free case.
There you go.
Thank you, Target, for being dumb and letting deal stack. See, there's both the games. Neither have been open though.
It's not worth it.
What's
I've been warming up to it, but at first I absolutely despised it.
Sam Chin's been here the whole time too. Thanks, Brandon. I don't know he's been the whole time, but thanks, Brandon. You're a beast. Azina Nora, watch the video on Friday, and you'll find our thoughts on Vileplume box. So we that's a dead horse. Like that's for sure a horse we've beaten this whole time. But guys,
I can
hopefully
beat
there's-
it for a long
Hey,
time.
don't ignore this guy asking about Groudon.
Oh, what? Sorry, where did he say that?
How many
proper
Groudon decks will show up to Fort Wayne?
How many
Give
will
me
show up
a
to
good
Fort
list.
Wayne?
I'll play Groudon.
No, you won't. You won't play Groudon. Shut up.
All right,
Yeah,
over under 3.
Over. Easy.
Over under 6.
Under.
Probably under.
If Kevin if Kevin makes a good Primal Groudon list and he's like squeaky,
Well, there's
Vegas,
at least like 4 right there because you're playing what I'm playing, and I got like 2 other people playing what I'm playing. There's 4 right there.
we better tell me what cards to bring so I can pack them up before I leave on Friday.
Yeah, so pack your Mega Heracross, Squeaky.
There you go.
Dude.
You never know when you're
I
gonna need
mean,
it.
Kevin did influence one of my friends to play Mary Haircross that weekend. I think maybe.
Wait, didn't you play it?
No,
Me and Andrew played it.
no, but John
Oh,
Collier
you
also
two
played
played.
it.
Okay, yeah.
John Collier also played
Yeah.
it too.
I played him round 1. Yeah, that was
But you played against you round 1, Alex.
John Collier.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I almost lost.
To Mega
They could-
Haircross.
It
Yep.
could have worked. It was close to working. We just
It
had
was good
to.
if we built it like Puka built his deck, we would have been fine.
Oh my gosh,
But we're not as good as Puka as building
that's
decks.
still unbelievable for a weekend.
I'm just glad Pokemon took him away. They said, all right, Puka, you're too good to this game. We're going to bring you into Pokemon. We're going to take you out of the equation. And let other people try to shine. Here we are. Nowhere.
True.
But guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for everybody for listening. A shout out to these 3 guys. Let's see. We got Kevin on 60 cards. Alex on 6 prizes. Andrew in the Charizard Lounge, the only free article website out there. Shout out to him. So make sure you go subscribe or follow just the Charizard Lounge, not the other 2, because it costs money. Bump that, but go like my articles on 60 cards. But some of them might cost you money to read. So, whatever. But yeah, guys. Good luck this weekend at Fort Wayne. See everybody. Come say hi. Don't say hi. Look at me. Stare at me. Take pictures. I don't care. Me and Kevin
Don't take
probably
pictures.
hugging.
I'll hug.
Hey,
What?
we'll go, one group hug. I really want to do like a huge group photo, but I'm really lazy at like,
I think Doug will be there.
dude, I'll be like, Doug, we're gonna take a huge Team Fish Knuckles picture, and it'll be like 2 people, me and Kevin.
Just in the corner.
That's what I was.
Make a post of verbatim. There's gonna be a Team Fish Knuckles picture, and it's just like multiple people coming just to flip me off, and that's it.
good.
Alright, guys, but can I play with? Somebody asked, can I play what Kevin plays?
Sure.
There you go, Joni. That's your answer. Alright, guys, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Good luck this weekend. Come say hello. Alrighty. Bye. Alright, guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to our 3 sponsors, 60 Cards, Yeti Gaming, and the Pokemon Company International. Links to everything will be down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty.